Okay, good morning everyone. I've got another repair video for you. I wanted to do something a little bit different today, and this is going to be one of a series of videos of how to repair the analog sticks on the Xbox controller. I mean, this is an Xbox Series X controller, one of the latest ones, but I might be doing repairs on other older Xbox One controllers like the Xbox One S and the original Xbox One controllers. But in today's video we're going to have a look at the Xbox Series X. And the reason that I wanted to do a series of videos, this is going to be part one, because when you're dealing with the problem of the analog stick on any of the Xbox controllers, there are quite a range of problems that you will need to look at. I don't think I can cover that in a single video. I do know that there are other videos out there where a single comprehensive video that covers all of the problems, but I feel it's best to focus on the individual problems, resolve that, rather than looking at a series of problems at one time. Okay, so this is part one of a series. If you are looking for one video that covers everything, this is not going to be for you. But within each video, you should be able to see quite soon, quite clearly, whether in the early diagnostics at the beginning pertains to the particular problem then you have. You can either watch or skip to one of the other parts to see if you've got any of the problems in the subsequent videos. Okay, so yeah, let's begin. Now, the first problem I have today is with this left analog stick. This left analog stick here is causing some problems. I'm not sure if you can see. It might be better if I use some tweezers. This left analog stick is kind of moving. You can see it doesn't center to the middle. So this looks like a mechanical problem rather than a software problem. You can see that the travel is quite a lot there, at least 1 or 2 millimeters of travel there. So whatever you do with the software, this stick is not going to center all the time. And I'll just show you with the right stick here that you can see this one does travel. It's a fraction of a millimeter. So I think I have checked the right analog stick and it centers absolutely fine. I've got this connected up to Windows. In the Windows gamepad tester has a web interface, which I think is the most accurate way of measuring that, and I'm going to show you within the diagnostic software, and then after that I'm going to take apart the controller, proceed with replacing this analog stick. Before doing that, I'll just head over to the web interface in Windows and I'll do that right now. Right, okay, so we're back again. The site for this is hardwaretester.com/gamepad. You can find this very, very easily if you just Google it or type in that web interface there. I've clicked on player 3. You might have to click on one of these tabs to get the right controller. As you can see, if you have a look at the left stick at the bottom here, I'm just moving this freely and you can see there is quite a significant amount of travel. The joystick itself calibrates actually fine. I'm pushing this to the extremes at the top, the bottom, the right and the left. There's something wrong with the spring tension. It's not returning to the center. I'm not sure if this will actually manifest in a game as what some people refer to as stick drift. It's also drifting to the left and the right. This obviously depends on the dead zone. There is usually a dead zone within this small area. This looks a little bit faulty. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to take this apart and then I'll get back to you with replacing the analog stick. Okay, we're back again, and first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to unplug that. And I've already taken off the rear cover. There are 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've taken the front faceplate off. I've just got my solder iron. Just going to desolder the wires for the vibration on the triggers. And then you've got the other 2 wires for the handle motors. And I've got, I think this Torx is T6. There's two of those. And you just pull that off. The headphone jack does come off as well, so make sure you keep that aside. As you can see, this is some kind of liquid damage. It's actually eaten away at some of this plastic. If you have a look at these green parts, these are the potentiometers on the side. I might not need to just remove the stick first. We'll see if we can still salvage the potentiometers. The calibration itself seems to be fine. This stick at the bottom has a spring, a tension spring, which keeps it in the right place. Some of this has seeped out into the side. That might have affected the potentiometers. I will check those afterwards. There are 8 points that need to be desoldered. If this analog stick you're going to throw away, if the easiest way of removing this, take this apart. I've got some cutting pliers here, so I'm just going to make a cut here. So that has taken this part. I'm going to do the same on the other side. This is a diagonal cut and another diagonal cut along here. So already I've separated this into 3 pieces. I've got some leaded solder here. Most of these controllers do use unleaded solder. These are regular pliers. I'm just going to use the clamp now because I don't have 3 hands. I'll just tilt that so you can see again while I am desoldering this. That's come out. This side piece that I pulled off is not actually soldered onto anything. You just have to pull it off. If you pull this way, pull this way, can I remove that? Yeah, but you've got these 2 pieces here. This is much easier than trying to remove the whole thing all at once. Flux that I'm using is fake Chinese Amtech NC559 ASM. And then we're going to do the other side now. We just need to remove this screwdriver. This is like probably 2mm width. Desoldering the other 2 points. So same as before. For the other side. I want to clear these with the desoldering pump. All the holes are clear. So I'll clean this side because there was that pink liquid on the other side mostly, but I really want to get rid of that as well as the flux that I used with the solder. Just the inner section I want to remove and clean up. So long as you're very delicate with this, it is okay to clean these. It's isopropyl alcohol, 99.9%. So this is the top side. I'm just brushing. And the other side, this is where most of the pink stuff was on. If you have a look at these two carbon tracks, if you can see some wear on them, you'll probably need to replace them. You can see that the carbon ring in the middle is worn off. You will have to replace this. This is the analog stick that I'm going to be using. PlayStation 4 ones, where they do look a bit similar, but some of the plastic on the PlayStation 4 ones is pink. These ones are all grey. Take these off. I can save one of these because I don't think I'll need to replace the bottom one. I will put this one back and then I'll put the stick back. Yeah, I'm going to replace this. In my case, I prefer doing it with my hand because it's just easier to hold. There we go, and if you just shimmy it left and right, that's the old one that I'm going to throw away. It's a little bit stubborn. Keep this in a vertical position, not like sideways like this. This solder sucker is full of solder, I need to empty it. I'm going to put the analog stick back first. Is going to register the resistance on the... I can push this in now. Yeah, make sure you push that down and get it in the right position, and that is flush. Put those in. Resolder all of those points at the bottom. This is the potentiometer on the left. The Xbox Series X controllers have quite good traces. I've never had a problem where the trace comes off. On the Xbox One S controllers, some of those traces are quite weak. I'm just going to do a preliminary check and then I'll connect back to Windows. Got this connected and I'm going to switch over to Windows now. Okay, hello, so we're back again. We're back on the Hardware Tester web interface. I've reassembled the controller. I've also put the rubber sticks back onto the joysticks that I replaced. When I started the video, I didn't actually have the rubber sticks attached. You need to make sure the rubber sticks are quite tight. They are themselves not slipping around. If you have some old analog sticks, that might be causing some of the problems of a loose stick as well. As you can see, I'm moving the left stick. This left stick is centering perfectly. There is a tiny amount of travel, so I'm not applying much force, just a very gentle force to show you the amount of travel. The acceptable travel for a normal working analog stick is up to about 0.05, something like that. And as you can see, even if I push these away from the center very slightly, I don't get 0.3. On the axis 0, I'm pushing this left. There is a very slight travel that is just 0.043 at the moment. That is perfectly fine. When you're checking the analog stick, make sure you push them to the extremes and it should be registering -1, and then when I push it down it should register +1.0, push it to the right 1.0, and then when I push it left I'm getting a -1.0. If these sticks are not reaching -1.0 and +1.0 at the extreme, that also might be causing a problem. So for example, if you have a character that's walking and then after a certain point he's running, it might not be registering that change from this point to this point. And I'll just show you also on the right stick that I did not replace. There is a little bit of travel, but just like the left stick, the travel is never going beyond 0.05 in any of the directions when you're just nudging the joystick slightly. Then when I push to the extreme, on the axis 3 I've got -1. When I'm pushing to the bottom, I've got +1. To the right, I've got +1 on axis 2, and then when I push to the left, I've got -1 on axis 2. There is also, click on this checkbox here, you'll get this circularity tester, and that will give you some data. Some people are saying that if it's less than 10%, it's pretty good. They're both around 6.6, 6.7. I've never found this particular test useful, but that just gives you something else. That concludes the video. I hope you found this video useful. For me, it's quite a simple but very important task to be able to replace the analog stick and also diagnose an analog stick is very loose. I removed the old analog stick, which is probably the most difficult part of the repair. So long as you can source the correct part, so long as it looks identical, you shouldn't have any problems. That concludes part 1 of videos about repairing Xbox One controllers or Xbox Series X controllers. I hope you found the video useful, and I will see you in the next one.